So, the next thing that happens on the offensive side is your shot selection. Lethal targeting versus non-lethal targeting. That's pretty simple. Don't really need to go any further than that. You all know what's a kill and what's not a kill. Your perspective. That's it. Now, I'm sorry. I skipped target recognition. Okay, because I just went directly to shot selection. Target recognition. You need to be able to see what's available on your opponent. Okay? Let me ask you a fundamental question. Do we need to see a target to hit target? No, we don't. So we have the obvious targets that are presented that we can see. We have targets that we cannot see. Most people do not think of fighting in that regard. Okay? They only will swing at the targets that are presented. They don't ever think about targets that are there that they can't see. They allow their own shield, their helmet visors, the position of their sword, the position of your opponent, all of those things. Allow them to dictate and limit themselves as what they're allowed to strike. Okay. The other aspect is shots that we can't, or shots that we create. Okay. So, I'm going to get into this a little bit more later on. Combinations are bad. You throw combinations, you wasted your time. What am I really saying? I say it in such a strong regard. I've always said it that way. But recently, I thought about rephrasing. How many times have you gone up there and see the guy doing the windshield wipe? They're throwing mud at the wall, guys. They're not aiming at anything. There's no shot selection there. That's just, they're just throwing. Okay. However, if you look at extremely high-end fighters, that much right there, that slight of emotion right there made them to react. So I had to do that to get them to move their offense and their defense over here so that I can strike over here or in the leg, whatever it is that I'm trying to get. And it is okay to throw a shot knowing that they're going to block it, okay, to get them to move it so you can either go to the leg, you can double it back up on the head. So when we think about combinations, set combinations are bad. Like I said, we'll get it. Just give you a brief overview. I want to give you more philosophy and what's going on. The delivery of your shots and your recovery of your shots. These are probably the most neglected portion of anyone's fight. Your shots need to land perpendicular to your target. Okay, they need to land at right angles, and your shots need to get on a right angle as quickly as possible. When we start bringing these shots out, these big wide arcs, they become slow and they lose power quickly, and it takes a tremendous amount of energy to control those shots when we're doing these things. This is why the flat snap in our particular activity is probably the best shot that you can throw. 90% of the time. Most of your shots should be there. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to conserve energy, we're trying to maximize force and speed growth. All right, recovery. Recovery. I'll talk more again about all of these things when I get into the philosophical stuff again. I just want to give you guys a baseline of what's going on. When we throw a shot, okay, so we start here. I don't care if you start here, I don't care if you start here, I don't care where you start. When you throw a shot, it has to come back. Well, that's too slow. It's faster if I just do this. No, it's not. If you do not recover, not only are you going to hurt yourself, you are not going to throw the shot properly. It will not land with the force or the control that you need to strike effectively. If they can recover faster than you can recover with sword, the shot was never there. It wasn't there. Thought was open? No. And you'll learn. Okay. Now, here's a different way to recover Anybody ever here been kicked by a horse? I've been kicked by a horse. It sucks. But what they teach you is when you're dealing with horses, is if you're going to get kicked, don't move away from the horse. Why? Because the horse gets to extend and put all the power behind it. All right? It's the same thing if you do any other martial sport. But if I move in, what happens is it changes the distribution of power and when the actual point, when the energy will be expended. It's still going to suck. It's just not going to suck as bad. So, when we do that, so if I'm sitting here and I'm throwing, and my opponent sees that, and we're at C range, and he says, ha, he throws, so he blocks, and I recover, I spent zero energy because it's really easy to move these muscle groups as opposed to this. Okay, this tremendous amount of energy. Now, their arc of power, their point of delivery, is still way back here. I changed mine mentally and physically. Positioning my feet, my hips, my shoulders, everything that's involved. I've oriented them properly to deliver the next correct strike. So, that's just something to think about as far as recovery goes. And we'll give you drills to do all these things. Defense, same thing, range. Okay, I'm defending, I'm blocking at Sigmund. All right, he's taller, he's longer than I am. He might use longer swords, he might use shorter swords. Where's he at? Where's he at? You know, just because I'm in my C range, that might be his B range. Or my D range might be his B range. I need to be aware of exactly what's going on. Your blow recognition, what's coming at you? What's going to happen is you're going to see, first you're going to see up or down. That's what you're going to initially notice, up or down. Always happens, every single time. You'll always recognize up or down. And I don't care if you're left-handed or you're right-handed. You'll notice left first, right second. Up, down, left, right. That's the order of the recognition of the blows that you're going to see that are going to come at you. Okay. So, defensive selections, what are we going to do? Are we going to block? Are we going to move away? Are we going to block with the sword? Or are we going to receive the blow? Don't ever think about that as a fighter. So you can come back up for a minute. Bring a sword. Bring a sword. Don't use shield. So, Zygmunt and I are fighting, swing at the left. I don't even block it because I know by him doing that, bang! Because every single time I've studied him, I'm just saying, and I'm just using it as an example, I've studied the opponent. Fine, I'm going to receive the leg shot to get a kill. Dangerous, because guys, no whining, there's no crying. He says light, mine's good, okay? Don't cry. Suck it up, move on, knock it up. So, that's what's happening in your defensive shot selection. Here's the delivery side of your defense, guys. Just like we have delivery on the sword, we have delivery on the shield. Okay? How we're going to block. Okay? The recovery. Always come back to his defensive position. Offensively and defensively, recovery is the most neglected thing. I've said that a few times now. It's because it's the most neglected thing. And it's probably what most of you are doing in here the most incorrectly. So, that's kind of the dry, boring, philosophical standpoint of what's happening in a fight. It's pretty simple, guys. It's pretty simple. So, let's really get into why you're here. What are your goals? What are your goals? Anybody? What are your goals? What are your goals? Why are we doing this? Why'd you come out on Saturday and drive out in the middle of a cornfield, listen to me blab around? What are your goals? Improve your fight. Improve your fight. You gotta learn on a person. It's not to become king. It's not to be a Duke. It's not to be a knight. It's to be the best possible fighter that you can be. That you maximize your potential in anything. All the other accolades will come with it. All the other perceived notions of success will come out of those things. enough progress fast enough for people to hang in there. So if you can do it 3 to 5 times a week, you're going to notice tremendous amount of dividends that will pay you back for your effort.